Hi, I'm Samantha McDouglas from thebridgeteachers.com. Come look over my shoulder at a play problem. As always, it's important to look at the auction before we move into the play phase of the hand. So our partner opened one club, showing 3 or more clubs and an opening hand or better. Our right-hand opponent bid 1 diamond, showing 5 or more diamonds and 8 to 16 points. And we bid 3 no trump. I would not have bid 3 no trump with this hand. In my system, 3 no trump should be 13 to 15 points, and this hand is too strong to do so. But this hand actually happened, and this is what the person who held this hand bid. So that's what we're going with. Everyone passed, and the contract was 3 no trump. Our left-hand opponent led the 10 of diamonds. The lead of the 10 could either be the top of nothing, or it could be the top of touching cards from an interior sequence. Why can't it be the second one? Because we hold the 9. In order for the 10 to be part of a sequence, they would have to have the 9. They don't have the 9, so it's not part of a sequence. There are a lot of other defensive agreements out there, and it is worth asking your opponents what their agreements are or looking at their convention card. In this case, if we take a moment and think about the auction, what do we know about the points on the hand? If we look at partners' points, they have 13, we have 17, so between our hand and partners, we have 30 points. There are 40 total points in the deck, leaving the opponents with only 10, 8 of which East has promised. This does not leave West with very many points. It's probably pretty safe to say that the King of Diamonds sits in the East hand. And with the King of Diamonds in the East hand, then it's almost a near certainty that the Jack is there as well. Very few people will lead the 10 holding the Jack, especially if there isn't a higher card involved. Assuming that the King and the Jack are both in the East hand, what should we play from dummy on this first trick? We should play the Queen. And I know, I can hear you. You're saying, but if we play the Queen, they're just going to play the King. And that's true. And the reality is that no matter what we do with the Queen, we're not going to take a trick with the Queen. Especially because the Queen is only double 10. What's going to happen is if we play low, the defense is going to let the 10 force the ace. And if we play the Queen, they're going to play the King. So what would the value in playing the Queen be? Promotion. When cards get covered, the cards beneath get promoted. That's why we cover, is to promote the cards underneath. So in this case, when we cover the 10 with the Queen, we're actually happy to see the King cover our Queen because when we play our ace on the King, our 9 gets promoted. Let's go ahead and look at all 4 hands. So if we cover the 10 with the Queen, and the defense plays the King, and we play the ace, our 9 is now the second highest card. The Jack is the highest card, and our 9 is the second highest card. This means that we should be able to take a trick with the 9. And I know that you were taught, and rightly so, that in no trump you should wait until the third trick to take the ace. We do this to run the shorthand out. If we wait until the third trick to take the ace of diamonds, West will be out of diamonds and won't be able to lead diamonds. But there are 2 problems with that. The first is, I don't think that West can win a trick anyway, so running them out isn't very helpful. Creating a second trick in the suit is a lot better than running one of the defensive hands out. Creating a second trick creates a guaranteed stopper. Also, it adds to the number of tricks we're taking. So if you can create a second trick, that's going to be way better than running one of the defensive hands out, especially on a hand like this where we have no expectation that the hand that we're going to run out, West, is ever going to gain the lead. But even if West does gain the lead, that's just fine because now our 9 of diamonds is playing 4th. If West were to lead a diamond, say the 4, we would play the 7. If East plays the Jack, we will play the 5 and our 9 will now be the high diamond. And if East plays something lower, we'll play the 9 and the 9 will win the trick. The 9 will also win a trick if East gains the lead because if East leads a diamond, if they play the Jack, we'll play the 5. And if they play low, we'll play the 9 and win the trick. As long as East has the Jack and is playing before our 9, we should be able to take a trick with our 9. We could even make this happen by leading the 7 from dummy. This would force East to choose whether or not to play the Jack before we chose whether or not to play the 9. Not only is this safer because it's a guaranteed stopper no matter who is on lead, but also it gives us an extra trick, which in match points could be the difference between a very good score and a not very good score. It may feel like we're throwing our queen under the bus when we're covering the 10 because we know that the king is going to take the queen. But what we're doing is we're promoting our cards, we're promoting our 9. This is a really great use for our queen. We can't ever take a trick with the queen because the king and the jack are behind the queen, but we can use the queen to promote the 9, creating a second trick in the suit. Almost always, creating an additional winner is going to be a lot better tactic than running one of the defensive hands out. So if you have some cards that potentially could get promoted and take tricks, you should be focusing on that rather than running one of the defensive hands out. Using promotion to create tricks is a valuable tool. Thank you. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to like and subscribe.